You and me, just like me, they long to be close to you.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Willie Jolly and my beautiful bride.
This is Dee.
And we're the authors of the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. We want to welcome you to our Jolly Marriage Show, where we are grateful for you coming and being part of it every Monday night at 9 o'clock. We got a special show for you tonight. We're going to jump right in because this is a humdinger of a show. We got special guests. Now, they wrote a book called Divorce Proof Your Marriage. They are out of Denver, Colorado, and they are special guests tonight, Casper and Cheryl Stockham. And we're glad to have you. Welcome, Stockhams.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you. Now, they say again because we were on their show. They have a marriage show. Is it Sunday nights?
Sunday evenings, yes, at 6 p.m. Eastern time.
6 p.m. Eastern. And
IAM Love Builders.
Yes.
IAM Love Builders. And so we were their guests. He wrote us a note and invited us to be a guest. We did the show and it was fantastic. And we said, you know what? We want to replay the favor of promoting your book as you promoted our book. And those who don't know our book, I'll say it again. Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. Everybody needs to have a copy. Tell us about your book, please.
Divorce Proofing Your Marriage. Yes.
Divorce Proofing Your Marriage. Okay, let's talk about Divorce Proofing Your Marriage and how you came up with this book and why it is so significant, please.
Yeah, so Cheryl and I have been doing marriage coaching for over 16 years. Mm-hmm. We've been married for 22.
Okay.
And almost 2 years ago now, we were trying to figure out how to relaunch our coaching business because I had taken a slight detour into politics just for about 10 years.
Okay.
But I'm healed from that now. I'm delivered from that now. So we wanted to get back into the back into coaching. So we wanted to write a book. And I don't know how we came up with the title. How did we do that?
Oh, we just came up with a list of different titles based on what we were putting in the book.
Yeah.
Because we felt like the information was to help you not fall into the divorce trap.
Right.
Fantastic. How did divorce proof your marriage? Well, we know that why don't you even have to divorce proof the marriage? Because we'll answer the question. Because 50% of marriages in America and around the world, Eastern, what we call Western civilizations,
yes.
They end in divorce.
Yes.
And so what they have done is say, we want to change that paradigm, change that statistic, and we want to help you learn how to stop getting divorced and stay married. And what are the things to help divorce proof? So let's talk about it.
I have a question.
Okay.
You
may.
How did they get into coaching? And then he took a break and came back. How did you guys get into
Yes.
coaching? How did you get into that? What made you make the decision to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So 17 plus years ago, we were at a church and we were part of a little group that was putting a marriage retreat together. We were part of the planning committee. And as part of that, they wanted the different committee members to give a talk at the conference. Now, Cheryl and I both have presentation experience. I was doing training and stuff, and she's been in training and management as well. So we both were comfortable with doing presentations in front of a crowd, but we never did one together.
Right.
So we were there doing our talk, and it was our first time ever presenting together. And afterwards, the pastor came up to us and said, "Hey, you guys, something's going on. You guys got something going on here, right?" So we said, "We do?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm going to hook you up with another couple at our church, and they do grants around the state." They were traveling around the state doing grants, doing marriage workshops. So we got partnered up with them, and we realized that this was something that we enjoyed doing. We enjoyed helping couples and everyone else. So then we just started doing that for like 8 years, right?
Yeah,
so,
we did that for almost another 10 years.
Yeah. And then
so you got grants to teach couples how to work through their challenges and stay together. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
Yes, there was an organization. It actually was this organization called the Center for Relationship Education,
Mhm.
and they actually had wrote the grant. They received the grant, and they were recruiting facilitators
Right.
to come under the grant and go around the city and the state and do workshops
Mhm.
for relationships. And that's what this other couple was a part of. And so we came along with them,
Yeah.
and it lasted for about a good, I don't know, 8 to 10
Yeah.
years.
And it was cool because they paid us, so it was good.
Great. Now,
What a blessing.
I want to get right into this book because I know we got a lot of listeners and viewers who want to know. I need help on how to divorce-proof my marriage. Give us let's go through your talking points because we got only about 15 minutes or 20 minutes with you guys. I want to get as much out of this as we can. Tell us the secrets to divorce-proofing your marriage.
Well, for the first 5 chapters in our book, we direct it towards singles.
Mhm.
So even before you get married, you need to be a healthy single
Yes.
and know what you're looking for before you even think about getting married. So so we talk to singles first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we think a lot of the marriage trouble starts even before they get married. While they're dating, the main thing, doctor, is that they ignore all the red flags.
Yeah.
Wow, come on now. Come on now. All right, let's give them some of the red flags. Give me a couple.
One of the red flags is lack of communication.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a big one all the way around, communicating or not understanding how to communicate. Because you can put women in a room and they can communicate all day long, but you put guys in a room and, we're just like thumbs up. You good? I'm good.
Right.
We don't do a lot of talking. So husband and wives need to do a lot more communicating. And if they don't know how to do that, we have tools in the book and in our toolbox, to help them with that for sure.
Okay. All right.
Another thing is seeking a good match.
How do you seek a good match? How do you do that?
Well, you have to actually know who you are as an individual. That's why we start with the singles. But once you understand who you are as an individual and you're solid in that and you're not needy, in other words, you're at 100% or at least 90%, right? So you're not needy. You're not in your mom's basement trying to find a match, right? You're actually, you have a job or, you have your own home, you're maintaining your life without someone.
Okay.
Then as you're out there in the marketplace or at church or wherever you are, you're, or you're chasing D down the road to get her number, right?
Like I said.
But you have to have your stuff together first in order to now start to, because you can't fully love someone until you love yourself, until you're taking care of yourself.
Okay.
Then you can.
All right. So start with the singles, getting your single life, getting you together, being healthy in your singlehood.
Yes.
Then you start getting the people to marry. So why don't you go through the chapters of the book and give us some learning points from the book. And again, tell the name of the book and where people can get it.
Well, the name of the book is Divorce Proofing Your Marriage. And yes, the first 5 chapters is all about singles so you can be healthy and whole. We talk about seek a good match. We talk about learning how to communicate.
Let me ask you that. Okay. We know that they got to learn how to communicate. Give us something they can, like a
takeaway.
A takeaway. What's one thing they can do to learn how to communicate? Because most people say, I know I need to communicate better, but they don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm. So we have a communication tool. It's just a simple little card that helps them if the conversation starts to get a little heated. So that doesn't happen to us that much anymore because we've used this tool for 16 plus years. But for couples that are arguing and so forth, they have to learn how to separate for a while, not forever, just separate so they can cool down. But when they come back, they use our communication tool, which is in our book. I can't find what chapter it's on, but it's in our book to help them now communicate or start to work through that issue.
Okay.
So they can start with smaller issues, like clothes on the floor or whatever, and they can work up to something a little bit more challenging. But they can use the tool to do that.
All right. So learn to communicate. So we start with singles, then we work out getting the right match.
Mm-hmm.
Then you work on these problems. What's another?
Another thing we do, because we mainly talk to Christian couples, is we look at the kingdom alignment.
Okay.
because a lot of the even Christians are not in proper alignment with with the Word of God.
Okay.
So there are some things that women need to do and some things that men need to do. Like men need to love their wives, right? This is biblical.
Biblical.
But women need to respect their husbands.
Correct.
And if they're not doing that, that's when they start to get out of alignment. And that's when challenges start to happen.
Okay.
And then you have those women that say, well, I can't respect my husband because he stays out late or whatever. Well, okay, then there's some other stuff going on, but you still have to be in alignment. The woman has to still be in alignment. And if she's in alignment, we can help her get her husband in alignment.
Okay.
But somebody's got to start the process, right?
All right. Somebody I got it. Makes sense. Okay. Okay. What's next?
So once you get yourselves in alignment, one of the other things that you would need to do is learn how to listen. Another main thing about the troubles of communication is that we don't listen. So we have ways in which you can sit down, slow down the conversation, begin to express your feelings without being offensive to your spouse, or without being angry and pointing the fingers and being derogatory in your form of communication, but to slow it down, open your mouth, give clear, concise thoughts, and share what your expectations are. Because a lot of times couples have expectations of each other, but no one expresses what they are.
Exactly.
They think you're going to be a mind reader. Nobody's a mind reader. You have to learn how to share what your expectations are, make sure they're not unreasonable, and make sure that there's something that you can both obtain.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Express your expectations.
That's good. I think it's very important to discuss expectation. Here's what I'm expecting, or here's what I'm thinking. All right. Here's what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking might not be what you're thinking. So,
right. And what you're thinking needs to be reasonable. Because
let's talk about how do you define what's reasonable?
Okay. So couples, when they come together, they may be coming from different cultures. They may be coming from different parts of the country or what have you. They may have been raised in different households to where the father did this and the mom did that or whatever. So when you come together, you have to talk about those expectations, and they need to be reasonable.
Not outrageous.
Not outrageous, right? So when I think about this, I think about sex, for example. Some of your expectations when it comes to sexual activity between the couples needs to be reasonable. It needs to be something that
you both can agree to.
You're not trying to force your spouse to do this, or they're not trying to force you to do that.
Okay. Because we had a letter from somebody there not long ago where the husband wanted to have sex 3 times a day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. He wanted to have sex. They worked at home. It was after COVID. And so they were both working from home.
Yeah.
And he wanted, and the wife said, "Oh God, I enjoy it, but not 3 times a day. I got stuff to do."
Yeah.
Yes.
So the expectations was off. Okay.
That would be unreasonable.
Okay.
Right? 3 times a day would be unreasonable. Now, once you start to get to once a day or once, that might start to get okay.
Okay, I got it. All right. Okay. Next point. What's the next point? Listen. Express expectations. What else?
Okay. So one of the other things is that you need to be able to identify how you can best please your spouse.
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yes. How do you please your spouse? And in order to do that, you got to talk about it. And you already said can't be a man. Ask them. Well,
what pleases you?
Some people can't talk.
They can't.
They can't
That's
articulate.
why they need to read material. So some people don't have the vocabulary to even express themselves.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. You have to be able to talk about it. And that's even one of the things we talk about for singles. You need to do that even before you say I do.
Yeah.
If you got somebody you can communicate with before you marry them, it's not going to get better after you marry them.
Absolutely. If there's some problems going in, there are going to be problems once you get there.
Yeah. You need to be able to recognize these danger signs when they show up early, because a lot of couples that come to us, they come to us at the 11th hour. I mean, they've already been through all the drama. They're going to leave from us and go to the divorce lawyer or whatever. But if you catch these things early, you can start to work on them early, and they're not that big of a deal if you do it early. But if you wait and you don't, you don't take care of it, it goes into the corner. It goes underneath the rug. And then as soon as something else comes around, then they pull that back out. You remember when you said this and that? You have to get rid of all those things slowly but surely, and you whittle it down to where there's really nothing, right? So then when something comes up, you just take care of it. Like when Cheryl and I have an issue now, it's over like in a matter of 10, 15 minutes. We work through it. We use the tools, we work through it, and we move on with our day, because we don't have to sit there and linger in that and let it fester and then go underneath the rug.
All right, let's talk about you. I'm going to dig in a little bit there. So y'all are two different people in every relationship. There are two different people who are not monolithic, so that they have two different opinions. So that's how you have a difference of opinion. You have something that you disagree on. What's your process?
Well, the first thing you do is that we need to slow the conversation down and avoid the danger signs, which is like escalation.
Okay, so you don't let it escalate, de-escalate.
Right.
Yes. And another thing is that you have to be fair with your spouse and not have any negative interpretation.
You don't throw in stuff that's in your brain
that you think that they're thinking, and they may not even be thinking that.
Come on,
Right.
you're making assumptions.
Right.
Assumptions.
Right.
Assumptions will make a ASS out of you and me.
Yes.
Don't assume.
Right. So when you have that issue that pops up, you have to both be on the same. You have to get each other to the same page.
Right.
But if you're arguing, you're never going to get there. So you have to slow the conversation down that we've been talking about, so you can get to the same place. And a lot of times when we get to
arguing is just not going to help.
Right.
Just doesn't. But it gets you more entrenched in your positioning.
A person convinced against their will are of the same opinion.
Still.
That's right. That's right.
The truth.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Okay. So give us some more things that I want people to be all excited and say, I got to go get that book. Again, tell them the name of the book and where they can get it, please.
Divorce Proofing Your Marriage. You can get it on Amazon.com. Or you can get it from our website and get a discount with a signed copy if you get it from our website.
Oh, stop. You ain't told me the website yet.
It's IAMLoveBuilders.com.
Lovebuilders.com. And you get a signed copy on that and a discount.
Absolutely.
All right.
And we talk about selfishness in the book as well, because that's a big one for a lot of folks, especially older folks who have kind of set in their ways. They come together with somebody else and they're just selfish, really.
Well, I always did it like this. Here's the way I always did it. Okay?
Right.
This is the way my family did it. We don't want to not do it some other way.
Right. And that's another thing that we talk about for our singles, because you need to have that discussion even before you get married as well. So we need to set a plan. Are we going to do it your way, my way, or are we creating our whole new way of doing things?
Well, I love that. Your way, my way, or our way.
Our way. Yeah.
Wow. That's
like
good.
that.
That's good.
And those all need to be reasonable and stuff. We talk about our love bank, keeping our love bank full.
Oh, stop. Tell us about that then. That's
Love
good.
bank.
I like that. Tell us, what is a love bank and how do you keep it full?
Okay, so all of us have a love bank, and all it is just a virtual way for us to either make positive, uplifting deposits into our spouse or withdrawals from our spouse. So if you're arguing, that's making withdrawals. But if you say, I love that outfit that you have on today. You know, that's a
Oh,
positive.
good. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Bank.
Yeah.
I love bank now. We
So
like
it's
that.
It's like affirmation.
Yes.
Yes.
Positive,
Right.
positive things.
Right. But here's the key, though. You have to make sure that you're speaking in their love language when you make deposits,
Yes.
because what you may think is a deposit is not. Right. Cheryl's love language is words of affirmation. So I can just speak into her life in a positive way, and that's making some serious deposits into her love bank. But for me, it's acts of service. So she can tell me she loves me all day long, but help me out with a meal or something. Show me,
Show me.
show me, right? So that's making deposits, and this applies to our children as well, right? Because our children, if we don't make deposits into the love bank, if we're not hugging them, if we're not showing them they're loved in the home, they're going to seek that love outside the home, and that's when we run into problems with gangs and everything else, because a gang member knows how to do this, right? They're trained on recruiting. And when you're recruiting, you're speaking into that young person's life. Young blood, don't worry about it. We got you covered. We're going to get you sneakers. We're going to get you this. We're going to get you that. Wow. And that's how they get those young folks trapped in the gangs.
Got it. Well, we got about 3 minutes before y'all have to go. Tell us any more things in the book that people need to know so they can be excited and delighted and ready to go buy your book.
So we would say if you're thinking about getting married, you need to get our book so that you can find out what it is as a single that you need to be aware of, know what your red flags are. And another thing, being single, know what your bottom line is. Don't cross your bottom line. Don't trade your bottom line in for somebody else's. Another thing is that being only see your bottom line and
I was looking through here and stuff. I should have had it. So we have a list. We have the 7 keys to divorce proofing your marriage. And as I was getting set up, I forgot to bring it out. So we're going from memory on some of this stuff. Okay. But, we also talk about blended families in the book, because a lot of folks today have blended families. So how do you deal with the kids in a blended family? Who's going to be the disciplinarian? Who's going to handle all that? We talk about that in the book.
Okay. So in the book on chapter 21, I believe it is, we have our Love Builders Toolbox. In the toolbox, 23. You have a whole list.
23.
It's chapter 23 of different things to help you surge some life and some enrichment into your marriage so that you can avoid that pathway down of divorce.
Yeah. Wow. Give us a couple of those.
So one of the things in the Love Builders Toolbox is just doing things for each other. Okay. Kindness, compliments, opening the door for your wife if that's a thing she likes. Open the door for her.
Show interest, pay attention, don't interrupt, validate feelings, respond thoughtfully.
Respond thoughtfully. Yeah. Before it comes out of your mouth, think.
Take a moment. Take a moment to think about what you
speak. Think before you speak.
Yes.
Because it's like toothpaste. Once that word is out of your mouth, you can put it back in.
It's a good word to hesitate. Because the thought comes up does not mean it has to come out.
Right. That's right.
Delay, hesitate, but don't let it come out your mouth.
Yeah.
Be thoughtful.
Yeah.
Thought before you speak.
Yeah. One of the things I like about my wife is that she goes to God first. Actually, before she comes to me with an issue, she goes to God first.
Amen. Pray first.
She goes into prayer and stuff, and she says, is this something I need to bring up to him, or is this me? Right. I love that about her. Half the time she solves problems without even coming. it just gets taken care of.
Pray first, like that. Pray before you do. Pray before you do. Seek wisdom first. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to leave your audience with we have an app. We have a free app where all this stuff is located. Our books are in there at a discount. Our books are in there at a 50% discount.
Wow.
We have quizzes. We have love assessments. Wow. Most of that is free. We have video trainings in there that we've been doing because we've been doing this training for over 16 years. So we have lots of videos in the app that they can download from our website. They can go to IAM IamLoveBuilders.com and just click on the little button right on the home page. They can download the app. It's in the Google Play Store right now. We're working on Apple, but Apple's a whole nother animal. But it's in the Google Play Store right now, and you can download the free app and get started.
Wow. This is fantastic. Well, we're so glad that we're able to have you guys as our guests and
Absolutely.
be part of the show today. And we're thankful for that. And so thank y'all for being part of today's show. Again, it's Casper and Cheryl Stockham, IamLoveBuilders.com. And the book is called How to Divorce Proof Your Marriage.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank y'all.
And
I know
they're headed to their show.
y'all are jumping on to y'all show. Y'all got a show tonight. So we're thankful and grateful for your taking time out to be with us. Thank you so much, and continue to save marriages, enhance marriages, and improve marriages.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. We
Thank
appreciate
you for
guys.
having us.
Bless you guys.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Bless you.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. So that was great, folks. The Stockhams were with us.
Divorce proofing your marriage.
Wow. We want to also talk about real quick. This is
All right. We're going to get started here. Hey, my name is Casper Stockham, and man, I'm glad you guys are with us. I'm back again for my second time here in this group. And today, first time I talked, I spoke about Mastering Adam. It's a book I wrote last year that we're talking about during the first session. But this session, I want to talk about something a little bit different. But before we get into that, let me ask you a question. What do you think is the number one reason people get married today? Why do people get married? It's a very interesting situation, because we get married and then not too long after that we start fussing and fighting, and then we get divorced. So why are people getting married? Just type in what you think is the number one reason why people are getting married in the chat, and I'll be monitoring the chat during this live talk. So my name is Casper Stockham. My wife Cheryl and I run IAM Love Builders. We are Christian broadcast TV producers and marriage coaches, and we've been doing that for about 16 years. And what's interesting is when people come to us, they typically come to us at the 11th hour, for one. And when they come to us, the wife drags the husband and she wants us to fix him, or the husband drags the wife, which is rare, and he wants us to fix her. And what we start to find out as we dig into what's going on is that they both are playing a role in what's going on in their relationship or in their marriage. Now, they don't think so, but they both are playing a role. And once we start to unpack what's going on in their relationship, we find out that they both need work. So we came up with a program we call MVP, Most Valuable Partner, because we know that if we can help the individuals become the most valuable partner in their relationship, that will lead to a better union when they come together. Because if you have two whole people coming together, that's a unit that's strong, right? That's a corded rope that's very strong. But if one is weak and one is kind of up and down, then that's when you have problems. So the answer to the question to the Pew Research question on why is the main reason people get married, it's love. People get married because they still love one another. Now, sometimes that love is lust. Sometimes that love is actually love. Sometimes we don't know what it is, but we just feel like, you know, we're drawn to this person, right? We get the googly-eyed look at that person. Wow, she's beautiful, or he's handsome, or this or that. And a lot of times, my first key, I'm going to talk about the 7 keys to becoming an MVP champion. The first key is seek a good match. So what happens is, in the beginning, we are infatuated with that person. A lot of times they talk about opposites attract, right? So we are quiet and reserved, and they're just loud, and they're, you know, just always talking, and we're so excited because it's different. So we're attracted to it in the beginning because it's different. But what happens is, over time, opposites start to annoy. We start to get annoyed. You're like, you're always talking. Can you just not stop talking? Well, that's who they were when you met them. They were talking. Or maybe they're into sports, right? And they're into sports a lot. So they watch sports all the time. And in the beginning, it's fine because you want to be with them, so you don't care. So you're just hanging out with them, watching sports. But then when you get married, now you're like, okay, I don't need to watch sports anymore because he's mine. So now he wants to still continue to watch sports because that's what he did. And you're like, do you have to watch every game? Well, yes, I was watching every game before we met, and yes, I enjoy watching the game. You know, this could apply to all kinds of things. You know, could be maybe they like to go running or hiking or boating or fishing or whatever it is, and you, in the beginning, are not really into that, but you're into them. So you do that in hopes of being closer to them. But over time, that starts to be annoying because you're not into fishing, boating, hiking, or anything like that. You're a homebody. So that's when couples get into challenges, and that's when seeking a good match is super, super important. Now, if you're already married, then what you have to do is you have to adapt. You have to start to adapt and like some of the things that your spouse likes, so you have things in common. Now, I was very fortunate with my wife because we enjoyed a lot of the same things right off the bat. So it was just really great, and there wasn't a lot of friction because I like to do the things she liked to do, and she liked to do things that I like to do. Now, not all the things, but enough of the things so that it was really no issue for us. So if you are single, seek a good match. Make sure that they like what you like. If you are married, you're going to have to start to compromise a little bit, you know, collaborate a little bit, and go with them to more sporting events or go hiking with them or whatever, and just enjoy the moment. The next key is to master good communication. Now, women are naturally good at communicating, but men are naturally not good at communicating. Women, you can get a group of women in a room, and you know, an hour later they all know each other's names, they know their backgrounds, they know what they like, they know what they don't like, they know a lot about each other. You come out of the room and you say, how was that meeting? That's, oh, it was great, you know, Sally is really into this and Susie's into that. And then you put a bunch of men in the room and we're like looking, head nod, dude, you know, thumbs up, you know, whatever. We don't do a lot of talking. So you talk to the men coming out of that room, and they're like, how was it? Oh, it was great. Okay, so what, you know, how was Casper? Oh man, he's awesome. Well, do you know anything about him? No, he seemed like a good guy. I mean, you know, he gave me the thumbs up, so I'm thinking everything is cool. That's how men communicate. So if you're going to become an MVP champion, and you know what, if you want to become an MVP champion, type it in there. Just type MVP in the comments, because to become an MVP champion, you have to become really good at communicating, especially with your spouse. So you have to understand the signs and things to know what she's asking you and why she's asking you those questions. And a lot of times when she's asking or talking about an issue, she doesn't want you to solve it right away. If she does, she needs to say it. Otherwise, just listen and then have some feedback, but you don't have to try to solve her problem. But you do have to be willing to listen and understand what's going on. The next one is master your expectations. This was a big one for me because I had much different expectations in the beginning of our marriage, and I was putting a lot of pressure on my wife to meet those expectations. So all of the things I'm talking about are coming from a biblical perspective, and as a man of God, you need to really be focused on your expectations, and are they reasonable? And is it something that she could meet? Right? Are the expectations that she can meet? And if they're not, you really need to do some soul searching to figure out why you're asking her to do those things. And it goes both ways, right? It's not just a one-way street. Expectations are both ways. But these come up a lot of times when people are from different backgrounds, right? Different ethnic backgrounds, born in different countries, born in different states. One's from the north, one's from the south. All these different things can lead to challenges with your expectations, because you may come from a home to where everybody had their own responsibility and chores, and she may come from a home to where the father or the husband or the brother did these things and the girls did these things. So you have to talk about those things and make sure you're both on the same page in order to have a healthy relationship, and in order for you to become an MVP champion. And that's what we're talking about today, helping you become a MVP relationship champion. That's what we want for all of you. The next one is keeping your partner's love bank full. This is super important, especially in a marriage, because over time, you just kind of get into the routine. You got the kids, you got the careers, you got the hobbies and things like that. And you start to overlook your spouse. You start to take him or her for granted. And we want you to become MVP champions, which means you need to be focused on your spouse. You need to make sure that you are keeping her or his love bank full. So how do you do that? Well, the first thing you need to do is know their love language. And there's a whole series, the 5 love languages out there. You can take a look at that. We have a love assessment that we have in our app. So if you go to our website, IAMLoveBuilders.com, and click on the app button, you can download the app, which is on Google Play Store. You can download the app. All this is free. And then you can take the love assessment, which is also free. But that'll help you understand your love persona and your spouse's love persona. That is how you know if you're filling their love bank or not. So for example, if your spouse's love language is words of affirmation, and you're busy working around the house, you're fixing stuff. That's me, right? I'm the fixer, right? I'm just putting stuff together. I'm building stuff around the house. But that's not necessarily filling my wife's love bank, because her love language is words of affirmation. So if I'm not telling her that I love her and tell her that I appreciate her and tell her that I care for her and so forth, if I'm not doing that, I'm not filling her love bank. So you need to become a master at being able to know what your spouse's love language is and how you continually fill it. This also applies to your children. It applies to your business partners. It applies to all the people around you. It applies to the people at church, right? And now, do you need to become a master at all those relationships? No. The main one is your spouse. But I'm saying is that it also, this concept also applies to your kids. Because real quick, this is how drug dealers and gangs are able to recruit young children, because they know what the young children's love language is, and they start to speak to it, and they speak into that young person's life, and the young person comes home, and home is at a disarray, or maybe their parents are working, or maybe it's a single parent home, maybe the mom is working. She doesn't have time because she's trying to provide to fill the love bank of her child, which is, that's bad. But the child goes out in the street and gets the love from the gang members. So that could cause a huge problem. So just be very mindful of that, especially if you have young children. The next one is master the art of self-love. I could spend the whole 20 minutes talking about this where I don't have the time. But at the end of the day, you need to love yourself enough to make sure you are healthy. Make sure you're keeping your mind sharp. Make sure you're keeping your spiritual life together. All these things make up that self-love. Now, this is not selfish love. This is self-love, taking care of yourself. I'm 65 years old and I work out every day. I make sure that if I fall down, I can get up. And if you're having problems, if you fall down, you have problems getting up, then that's where you start, right? You start working on getting up. You start working on getting out of a chair and standing up. If you can't stand up out of a chair without, you can't, you got to do all that. That's a problem. You need to be able to get up. So work on yourself. Work on your self-love, because your body is a temple, and your body, if you're married, doesn't belong to you anyway. It belongs to your spouse. So you need to be taking care of, you need to be a good guardian of your body for your spouse and for God and for the world. So if you're not healthy, you can't help someone, right? If you're walking with a cane, and I'm not saying this negatively, but if you can't walk, it's going to be hard to help somebody else walk. If you can't get across the street in a timely manner, it's going to be hard to help excuse me, somebody else get across the street. So you need to be working on yourself, working on your health, and working on you need to be sharp, right? You need to be able to help people with different challenges. You need to become a servant leader, but that starts with working on yourself. What's the old adage, when you're in a plane, right, the oxygen mask drop down, they say put the mask on yourself first so you can breathe, and then you can help your child, you can help other people around you. But you have to be able to breathe first in order to proceed. The next one is master the power of forgiveness. This is another topic that I could talk about for 20 minutes. This is so important in a relationship. You have to be willing to forgive. Now, if you are a Christian, you know that you are, I wouldn't say commanded to forgive, but it's very clear in the word. If you don't forgive, you are blocking your blessing. So I work to forgive as quickly as I can, instantly if I can. Now, I'm not God, I'm not Jesus, but I try to forgive as quickly as I can, because if I don't, it blocks the blessing. So if someone offends me, which is hard to do, by the way, because I really, I'm so confident in myself, and it's not arrogance. I'm just confident in myself that it's hard for you to offend me. I mean, you can call me all kinds of names. It really doesn't bother me anymore. Now, it used to. When I was younger, it used to bother me, but it doesn't bother me anymore. Now, 65, really, okay, you can't really call me names to offend me. So work on that power of forgiveness. You got to master this. If you master forgiveness and you master self-love, again, not selfish love, but self-love, you're going to be well on your way to becoming an MVP champion. And the last one is master the art of enjoying the journey. Man, I can't tell you how important this is. You only get one chance at this whole life thing. And if you're not having a good time, you're not doing it right. That's our tagline for IAM Love Builders. At 65 now, my goal is to leave a legacy for my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I'm going to see my great-grandson here in a couple of days on the East Coast. Hopefully the weather holds up. But, you need to enjoy life. Now, we could be fussing and fighting with each other, and it's just not worth it. At the end of the day, it's just not worth it. Now, I'm not saying you let people run over you. I'm not saying that you just allow everything to just be wasted or whatever. But I'm saying pick your battles. There are some things you should really be strong on, and other things not so much. At the end of the day, what does that matter? So you need to really look at it from a lens of, okay, how can I affect this situation, or can I affect it? And if I can't, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. This goes a lot along with politics and all the other stuff, right, going on. You can vote, and you should vote, and you better vote. But at the end of the day, after the vote's been cast and recast and whatever's going on, you don't have a lot of control over what happens after that. So don't spend a whole lot of time trying to figure out that. Just know what's going on, be aware for sure, and then vote, and then go on with your life. Because it really doesn't matter to me who's running things, because I'm running me. I'm running my household. I'm running my life. Now, the biggest example I can think about this really just blows my mind. I pray that I can be this strong. But in the Bible, there's a story about Apostle Paul and Silas, his companion. And they went into a town and they were preaching in the synagogue or wherever they were. And the people started to not like what they were saying, so they were beat, they were brought to the authorities, and they were stripped and just treated horribly, and then thrown in jail. So they're in jail and not at the front of the jail and not like in the sitting area. They're all the way in the back, chained, hands and feet chained up. And they're singing and praising to God. Now, they're not singing and praising to God to get out of jail. They are praising and singing to God just because they are free. Even though they were in prison, they're free. That's critical point to this whole story. So they were singing and praising so much and so loud, all the other prisoners were like baffled as to what's going on. I guess they joined in later or something. But the prison shook and the shackles fell off their hands and their feet. Again, this is a biblical story. And the jailer who was running the prison, he was going to kill himself because the doors were open and he just thought that the prisoners had all ran out. He didn't know, so he just, if you're in charge of the prison and that happens, you're dead. They just kill you and figure everything else out later. So he was going to kill himself. And Paul called out to him and said, hey, no, don't worry, we're all here. And he's befuddled. Like, what do you mean you're all here? Yeah, everything's fine. He wound up bringing Paul and Silas and even some of the prisoners, I guess, to his home. They wound up having an impromptu church service. And the jailer's home, everybody got saved. At the end of the day, the jailer and his household and slaves and everybody else got saved because of the actions of Paul and Silas. Again, you need to enjoy the journey. There's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be stuff going on that's not pleasant, no doubt. But you still need to enjoy the journey. And that's what this is all about. That's why becoming an MVP champion is so important. So you can get all this information for free, a lot of it for free, on our Facebook group. We have a Facebook group called the Most Valuable Partner Network, MVP Network, Most Valuable Partner Network on Facebook. We have a free app that you can download. Now, obviously, we would like for you to upgrade in that app eventually down the road, but you don't have to. You can get a lot of great information for free right in the app. So we encourage you to do that. And I'm just excited to be able to be a part of this event. And I'll be chiming in to different speakers off and on throughout the rest of the event. I think it actually ends tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. But it's been a blast. I've had a great time. I really appreciate Stephen for reaching out. And we're going to be friends on Facebook for a long, long time. And hopefully I'll get a chance to meet him one day. So he seems like a really, really cool guy. Again, my name is Casper Stockham. My wife Cheryl and I run IAM Love Builders. We'd love for you to be a part of our discussions and organization. And you know what? My time is up, so I'm just going to leave it there. Love you guys. Become MVPs. Keep strong. Keep the faith. We'll see you. Bye-bye. Going to wrap this up. That was our last speaker for the summit. We have a couple of closing comments and things we want to share with you, but we're just really appreciative that you hung with us. I know some folks are in and out, and that's fine. There's going to be hundreds and if not thousands of people that have or will watch this over the next day or two. So we're just so appreciative of that.
Yes, because it's going to be recorded. It was recorded.
It is,
right?
Yeah. It is,
and so and then each of our speakers will be able to share it with their audiences.
Mm-hmm.
So we are excited. Thank you so much for sticking with us and joining us in our first MVP Champion Summit.
Yes. And I want to do a share screen because I want to show you our app, because if I can figure out how to get back to, actually, I think, how do I do this? Yeah, you should be able to see the app. Let me just make sure you can see it first. Okay, yeah, you can see it. All right, you can see it. All right, so what I'm going to do is move this out. Oops, move this out. Nope, wrong one. Sorry, just give me 1 second here. I think I wanted to do this one. Yeah, that's what you're seeing. Okay, so on our website, you go to the home page. You will see the MVP button and the app button. Now, if you click on this app button, this is for Google Play. So this will go to the Google Play download feature because we are in the Google Play store.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not a Google Play, let's say you are an Apple user, you would click on this green button here for Apple users. I think it says it somewhere in there. And that'll take you to a login page. Now you have to log in, but once you log in, you're going to come to this screen. Now MVP Premier is for our higher end clients that are looking for a door-to-door gourmet one-on-one service. So we're not going to spend any time talking about that. But once you join the app for free, you're going to get to the MVP apps section. Once you're here, you're going to want to take one of these 3 quizzes. Whatever quiz you take, it's going to give you access to the free MVP Lite area, but you need to take one of these quizzes first. And once you do that, again, this is all free, then it'll take you in. Oh, did it change on the? Let's see if it's changing on the screen. I don't think it changed. Doesn't look like it's changing. It's still showing that. When it should be showing that.
There's so many moving parts when you're doing a summit.
Oh my goodness.
And especially when Honey, he's the
Unbelievable.
only person. I mean, I can
Unbelievable.
cheer him on, but you know, this
Yeah,
is
she
not
just-
my area of expertise.
She's just looking in pain. She's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I don't know how to help him. I'm like,
All right. So you should be seeing that. Okay, here we go. So the app area is where you take the quizzes. Once you take the quizzes, then you will be able to get into the free MVP Lite area, which is the next button down. Once you are in this area, this is where the magic happens, because we have a lot of stuff in this area. We have documents. So we have different little memes here that we have, but we also have the communication tool in here, right there, communication tool. Click on that, they'll get you the communication card. We have workshop information that you can get access to when we have workshops. We have retreat information when we have retreats going on. We have the free ebooks that we talked about during the summit. You get the Mastering Adam ebook and or the Divorce Proof Your Marriage ebook. Those are all free. We get the quizzes that we showed you earlier. They're listed here as well. The free love assessment. This is very good for couples to take this love assessment, and we have videos to
walk you through
how to use it. Yeah, all that stuff. And then we have the 7 keys to mastering Adam. We featured some of that on the summit today, but more of it is listed here. There's several videos. Each one, no, actually one video, but it goes through the 7 keys to mastering Adam. Then we have the 7 keys to healthy relationship. Again, all this is free to you as an MVP member. 7 keys to healthy relationship. There are several videos of Cheryl and I walking through that. Then we have 7 keys to a healthy marriage. Also in here in the light area. See, there's those videos. Then we have the Love Builder Love Pack. This is the $399 value that you can get for, I believe, $179. That is a huge discounted savings because you're in the app.
Mm-hmm.
Huge savings for the Love Pack. And then you can refer 3 and get upgraded to the paid version, which has even more videos and more training and stuff that we're developing on a daily basis. So you can refer 3 for free, and then you get upgraded for free. So all this is available in the app. We're excited that you guys have been with us for the summit. We're just, I don't even know how to describe how happy we are that you're here and with us. And
can they also on the app get to the TV show?
Oh, of course. Of course they can. Yeah. If I stayed in there, they could.
I was like, well,
What about the TV show?
yes. What about the TV show?
Okay, we're back. We're back. So we have videos, and you can get access to our books at 50% off on the books if you go through the app. 50% off on the books. Let's see, and then scroll down. TV.
And there's the TV network.
So all the TV shows are all listed here. Even our streaming services are listed here. You can get to JVBN network through here. All this is free. Access is all free through the app. So yes, they can get to all that.
All right.
All right.
Wow, that's a lot of information.
Yes.
Please join us, tune in. We create content that we believe that is of value to help you in your marriage and your relationship, because we believe if you are not having fun, you are not doing it right.
No doubt about that. Hey, folks, thank you for joining us on our first summit. We're going to do more of these. So stay tuned, but we're just excited that you guys are with us. And we will see you on the next summit, or we'll see you online.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll see you.